Alright, so the blue portion going superiorly from the heart is what? SVC. The IVC is going to be the inferior portion going out the bottom of the heart, descending all the way down the abdomen. From there, you see the SVC branching off into two main branches, one here and one here. Brachiocephalics, right and left. Make sure you always label right and left when you can on this exam. So we have the SVC going into two main branches, same setup in the human. Brachiocephalics, right and left. From there, our brachiocephalic. Brachial means arm, cephalic, head. So the two portions. The portion going to the arm is referred to as subclavian, and the portion going to the head, jugular. So if we flip that piece of tissue down, you can kind of see how the shoulder region begins here. So we'd go from subclavian to the next area, which would be axillary. And then we would go from axillary towards that bicep region, which would be the brachial.
And these are all veins or arteries?
The blue is the vein. The artery is tucked underneath here.
Okay.
We've got a lot of nerves here from the brachial plexus.
Okay.
But you can see that artery right here. If we look at the aorta, it's hard to see from your side, but there's a tiny part where everything originates from. That's actually going to be the aorta.
Okay.
You can see two portions, one here and one here. It's no longer the aorta at that point.
But when it connected,
What do you mean?
I'm asking.
The aorta is
They
where
connected
she's saying
the
where
aorta.
it's corrected. Yeah.
They connect at the aorta, and then they branch off. We've got this one branch that goes straight to the arm,
That's your subclavian?
subclavian, and then we have a branch that's going to go up to the head, which would be
Common carotid.
common carotid. And we have a left and a right. Same setup in the human there with left and right. That's about it for this section.
Okay.
If you do see something pinned in the arm, this cat didn't have it very well. I ended up cutting it up. But if there's a vein that runs along the radial portion of the arm, it would be,
The radial.
and the ulnar side, ulnar. That covers that.
Hold on, how you can tell the rate of thumb side and all that from the kid?
Radio is red, like red.
You never seen a cat's
That's how
thumb?
I remember.
No, I don't
No,
like kids.
I don't do cats.
Right here.
That's
You
it,
got a nice little thumb right there.
We don't do cats. Okay.
Don't touch it.
No.
Okay.
No.
So as we shift down to the abdomen, we've got that IVC that's going to continue all the way down throughout the abdominal pelvic cavity. And then we've got these two organs here, which are what? Kidneys, also called renals. So the vein going there, renal vein,
Oh, sorry.
I see it.
and then the artery going to the kidney,
Renal
Renal
artery.
artery.
renal artery. I tried to stick underneath it, but if you can see this little bulb,
That's the gland.
what gland is that?
Adrenal gland.
Adrenal gland. On the human, it's going to be sitting right on top of the kidney, whereas here, if we use this cat, you'll have a nice view like that. If we don't, usually it's where the renal vein meets that IVC.
So what would that? You don't have the adrenal gland on there, right?
We just saw
You
it
just
right
got the
there.
suprarenal.
Well, the suprarenal gland is the same thing as the adrenal
Okay.
gland. And then here, I've kind of pulled the mesentery apart, but if we try to put some tension on this, you can see one artery traveling superiorly and one attaching inferiorly. Those are going to be your superior and inferior mesentery. And this giant trunk here,
Descending aorta.
once it heads down here and branches off into two branches, what two main branches do we have on the outside?
External iliac.
Mhm.
Artery.
And you can see a little bit of,
Is that the middle sacral?
you can see the internals.
Oh.
So you can see two nice internals set up there. We don't really have a common here. The area is so small that you don't have to worry about it.
Okay. So just external, internal.
As we pull that out of the way, you can see that IVC again branching down into, just worry about the externals here.
Okay.
I've chopped off the internals. So once we get outside to the pelvis, our pelvis would end right about here. And then we'll actually enter the leg. Once we enter that leg, that external iliac vein becomes what?
Great
Great saphenous vein, isn't it?
I put
Femoral. So you can see here on this side how it becomes the femoral vein and artery. And there's also a nerve that runs right along with it. And then when we head down here, what would this one be?
That's great.
Yep.
Remember long snake?
Yep. Anything else you guys have questions about there?
Snake.
We have the
So they're probably iliac on the
tibia
side.
and the